There are homeowners in America right now, over the age of 65, sending in a property tax check every single year for a bill they do not legally owe. Not a reduced bill, zero. And the reason they're still paying is not that they don't qualify, it's that nobody ever told them the program existed, or that it required an application, or that the deadline to claim it comes and goes quietly every single year. Today I'm going to show you exactly which situations can take your property tax bill all the way down to nothing, which ones cut it in half, and the single step almost everyone skips that leaves that money sitting on the table. Find your situation, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to check and who to call. Before we get into it, if you're not subscribed to this channel, do that right now and turn on the bell. Here's why it genuinely matters for this topic specifically. Property tax relief is not automatic. Nobody at the county mails you a form that says, "Congratulations, you turned 65. Your bill is now lower." The exemption exists in the law, but the law puts the burden on you to find it, apply for it, and reapply when the rules change. And these rules change constantly. Income limits get raised. Exemption amounts get expanded, brand new programs get signed into law, and the deadline to claim them is often buried on page 4 of a county website. The people subscribed here find out about these changes in time. The ones who aren't tend to find out after the deadline has already passed. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing you have to understand before any state or any program is where the money on your bill actually goes. Because on most property tax bills in this country, the single biggest line item is the school district tax. Not the county, not the city, the schools. And in a lot of places, that school portion is more than half of your entire bill. That matters enormously because the most powerful senior programs in the country don't touch every part of your bill equally. They target that school portion. So when you hear about a senior's bill dropping to almost nothing, this is usually why. The school tax, the biggest piece, got wiped out. Keep that in the back of your mind because it explains everything that follows. Let's start with the situations where your bill can genuinely go to zero, not reduced, zero. If you own your home in Alabama and you're 65 or older, you are already exempt from the entire state portion of your property tax, no matter what your income is. And if your federal adjusted gross income is at or below $7,500, you qualify for what's called the H-3 exemption, which wipes out the state, county, and school taxes on your home completely. That's a total bill of zero on the homestead. But here's the catch that costs people. You have to claim it at your county revenue commissioner's office, and in many counties, you have to verify your income every single year to keep it. Miss that step, and you drift right back onto the full bill. Mississippi is similar and just got better. If you're 65 or older there, the first chunk of your home's value is fully exempt from property tax, and as of January 2026, that exemption expanded to cover homes worth up to roughly $125,000 in true value. No income limit at all. If your home is under that threshold, your ad valorem tax bill is zero. But you have to physically reapply when you turn 65 to move from the regular homestead tier up to the senior tier. People forget, and they stay stuck on the smaller exemption for years. South Carolina stacks two breaks on top of each other. Every owner-occupied home in the state is already exempt from school operating taxes, that biggest piece we talked about. And then seniors 65 and up get the first $50,000 of their home's value knocked off on top of that. For a modest home, those two together can bring the bill down to almost nothing. And then there's Georgia, which is maybe the clearest example in the country. The state floor is small, but individual counties go much further. In counties like Cobb, Gwinnett, and Forsyth, qualifying seniors get a 100% exemption from the school tax. 100%. Because that school portion is often more than half the bill, this is real money. In Cobb County, that full school exemption can erase somewhere around $2,600 a year on a $350,000 home, and over $3,100 on a $420,000 home, every year for the rest of the time you own it. The deadline to file is April 1st, and you file with your county tax commissioner. Miss April 1st, and you wait another full year. Now, for most of you watching, you're not in one of those specific zero-bill situations, and I'm not going to pretend you are. But the reductions available to you are still enormous, and this is where the biggest recent changes are happening. Texas just made one of the largest moves in the country. In November of 2025, voters passed measures that raised the school tax exemption for seniors dramatically. Combined with the general homestead exemption, a senior homeowner in Texas now shields $200,000 of their home's value from school taxes. The state's own numbers say that with these changes, more than 65% of senior and disabled homeowners in Texas now owe zero school tax. On top of that, Texas gives seniors a permanent school tax ceiling that freezes that portion of your bill at the level it was the year you turned 65, so it can't climb as your home's value rises. You file Form 50-114 at your county appraisal district, and once it's on, it renews automatically. If you're in New Jersey, which has the highest property taxes in the country, there's a stack of relief now. The Senior Freeze, Anchor, and the new Stay in J program, all designed to knock roughly half off a senior's bill, and they're claimed through a single application with a deadline in early November. In New York, Enhanced Star cuts your school taxes if your income is under about $110,000, and a separate senior exemption can cut your assessed value by up to half. In Illinois, there's a senior homestead exemption plus a low-income assessment freeze, and the income limit for that freeze just got raised to $75,000 for 2026, meaning more seniors qualify than did last year. If you were denied before because you earned too much, that's exactly the kind of change that can flip you to eligible. There's also an option a lot of seniors have never heard of: deferral. States like Oregon, California, Washington, and Texas will let you postpone your property taxes entirely if you're over a certain age. Now, be clear-eyed about this one. Deferral is not the same as an exemption. The state pays the bill for you now, places a lien on the home, and the amount gets repaid with interest when the house is eventually sold or passed on. It's a cash flow tool, not free money. But if you're house rich and cash poor, it can mean staying in your home instead of being forced out by a tax bill. So here's the part I really need you to hear, because it applies to every single person watching, regardless of your state. The AARP Foundation estimates that more than 9 million older Americans on limited incomes are eligible for property tax relief, and only about 8% of them actually apply. 8%! That means the overwhelming majority of people who qualify for this money never claim it, not because they were denied, but because they never filled out the form. As AARP puts it, this relief isn't automatic. In most cases, you have to submit an application and meet a deadline set by your state or county, and some places even require you to apply in person. So here is your action step, and it's the same no matter where you live. Pull out your most recent property tax bill. Then, call your county assessor's office or your appraisal district in Texas and ask them directly, what senior exemptions, freezes, or deferrals do I qualify for, and what's the deadline to apply? Write down the deadline, get the form, file it. That one phone call is what stands between you and, depending on your state, a bill that's cut in half or erased entirely. Quick summary. If you're in Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, or certain Georgia counties, your bill may go all the way to zero, but you have to apply and, in some cases, reapply every year. If you're in Texas, New Jersey, New York, or Illinois, major reductions and freezes are available, and several just expanded for 2026. So even if you didn't qualify before, check again. And everywhere, the money only comes if you file the form before the deadline. None of it is automatic. Do this now, while there's still time on the deadline. Share this with someone you know who's turning 65 because there's a good chance they have no idea this exists. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.